Welcome to Vishnu Consultants. Today we will learn about a private limited company and how it is registered. The Indian Companies Act is one of the oldest enactment, which was in force for nearly 150 years, has undergone several modifications from time to time to cater to the changing Indian and global economic conditions. To make it easier to incorporate a company in India, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has taken major steps by rolling out various simple and user-friendly processes in the Companies Act 2013 with periodic amendments. With the specific objective of providing speedy incorporation-related services in line with global best practices, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has initiated the Central Registration Center in Government Processes Re-Engineering. In this article, we shall discuss some of the major changes and the current processes for incorporation of a private limited company. Now, let's look at the meanings. A private company is a company having a minimum paid-up share capital as may be prescribed, and which by its articles restricts the right to transfer its shares. A promoter is a person who has been named as such in the prospectus or is identified by the company in the annual return referred to in Section 92. He has control over the affairs of the company directly or indirectly, whether as a shareholder, director or otherwise. And in accordance with whose advice, directions or instructions the board of directors of the company is accustomed to act. A small company is a company other than a public company. Its paid-up share capital does not exceed 50 lakh rupees or such higher amount as may be prescribed, but shall not be more than 5 crore rupees. The turnover of a small company according to its last profit and loss account does not exceed 2 crore rupees or such higher amount as may be prescribed, which shall not be more than 20 crore rupees. However, this does not apply to a holding company or a subsidiary company, a company registered under Section 8, and a company or body corporate governed by any special act. Now, let's look at some of the important features of private limited company. To register a private limited company, there should be a minimum of 2 persons and with maximum limit of 7 directors. On successful completion of incorporation, the promoters would be issued director identity number. The company would be issued the corporate identity number. The company attains the status of an artificial legal person on successful registration with perpetual existence, unless and otherwise closed by the promoters themselves or by a competent authority due to legal issues. In case of non-compliance or in case of any default, the directors will be held liable for the penalties or other consequences. The registration process of a limited liability partnership and a private limited company is almost similar, but with some minor differences in the documentation and forms to be filled with the Registrar of Companies under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Cost, features, and fundraising are a few points of differences between a limited liability partnership and a private limited company. The average time taken to complete the registration of a private limited company is around 10 working days, subject to government processing time and submission of applicants' accurate documents. Mismatch of information and documents leads to queries, raising of queries by Ministry of Corporate Affairs for submission of clarifications. All the proposed promoters need to submit their self-attested valid documents for timely completion of incorporation. The professional consultant whom the promoters have engaged for the purpose of incorporation will verify, validate and submit the documents on behalf of the promoters to Central Registration Center by uploading them in Ministry of Corporate Affairs portal. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs stipulated that all e-forms are required to be signed digitally only, by using a valid digital signature certificate issued to the individual by licensed certifying authorities appointed by the Controller of Certification Agencies as per the Indian Information Technology Act 2000. Your consultant would initiate the process for obtaining digital signature for the proposed director. Nowadays, paperless digital signatures are available in the market. To get the digital signature on submission of online application, the applicant needs to complete verification of his or her identity through OTPs sent to his or her mobile number registered with Aadhaar and email, followed by a less than 30 seconds online video verification. After the verification, digital signature would be approved by the certifying authority, which needs to be downloaded in an USB crypto token for digitally signing the e-forms. A person who already has the digital signature certificate obtained by him for any other purpose can use the same digital signature certificate for filing e-forms with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and is not required to obtain a fresh digital signature certificate. Meanwhile, the consultant would file an application for reserving the proposed business name, namely reserved unique name of the one-person company with Ministry of Corporate Affairs by paying prescribed fees online. Two proposed business names to be provided by the applicants for reserved unique name, out of which the Ministry of Corporate Affairs will reserve only one name with a validity period of 20 days from the day of its approval. Normally, it takes 2 working days for Ministry of Corporate Affairs to reserve the name. On obtaining the name approval letter from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and digital signature certificates in the form of USB tokens from certifying agencies, the consultant prepares a draft of all the incorporation documents such as Article of Association, Memorandum of Association and all other e-forms and send them to all the proposed directors for affixing their respective digital signatures. The director must sign all the documents and send the signed documents to the consultant for onward submission in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs portal. All the signed documents will be submitted by the consultant as an attachment to the e-application for the incorporation. The approval for incorporation by Ministry of Corporate Affairs can take anywhere between 7 to 9 working days. On successful verification and validation of information and documents, Ministry of Corporate Affairs issues the certificate of incorporation in the name of Pvt Ltd Company. Along with the incorporation documents, the consultant would submit documents for obtaining PAN and TAN for the Pvt Ltd Company and opening of company's current account in any preferred bank of the promoters. The memorandum of a company shall state the proposed name of a company, the state in which the registered office of the company is to be situated, the objects for which the company is proposed to be incorporated, the liability of members of the company, whether limited or unlimited. The articles of a company shall contain the regulations for management of a company and shall also contain such matters as may be prescribed. After incorporation, the company needs to maintain its basic accounting and periodic compliances. Below is the list of some of the important compliances required to be adhered to after company's incorporation. Have a look. taxes and general meeting, which needs to be held in every calendar year. Check the other important points. It is necessary to file company's income tax return and pay tax on company's profit. In addition to the above ROC compliances, applicable GST, ESI, PF, TDS returns, professional tax and income tax returns filing is required to be complied with for the LLP based on the nature of business, sales turnover and various other criteria. The following are some of the need-based other optional registrations which we shall discuss in our next knowledge sharing series. Thank you. For more such educational content, subscribe to Vishnu Consultants.